Good evening, everyone. Ooh, got a little feedback. Thank you for joining us tonight for keep going. Okay, our third event for Black History Month. This event is sponsored by the Equity Board and in collaboration planning with our Black Student Union, the BSU. So I'm going to go ahead and announce our speaker today, or introduce our speaker. Our speaker today has traveled all over America and has given over 400 empowerment seminars and workshops to business groups, banks, government agencies, nonprofit organizations, colleges, and high schools. He is the author of a powerful, thought-provoking book, Jumpstart: How to Recharge Your Life. He serves his community in many roles. He is the mayor of Alamosa, Colorado. He is a volunteer mediator for the Center for Restorative Programs. He is an Alamosa Kiwanis board member. He is an actor with the SLV Theater Company. He is the chief operating officer for CRHDC. He is often asked to sit on an array of business discussion panels, and he is a frequent guest on radio talk shows. His mission in life is to reach one and teach one daily by his actions. Please join me in welcoming Ty Coleman.
Woo! Good job, Heidi. Wow. She did a great job. Let's give her a round of applause, everybody. Wow, I am so thankful and grateful to have an opportunity to come here tonight. And I'm really looking forward to talking to everyone. I got a chance to meet some of you while I was walking around. I see a lot of my longtime friends who've been friends of mine since I first came to Alamosa. And the thing they don't know is I might call them out and tell them to come up here, but I'm not going to do you like that tonight. But I really just want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. Have a good presentation for you. My mission in life is to reach one and teach one daily by my actions. The message that I'm going to talk to you tonight about is Champion, a guide to excellence. I believe that pursuing excellence is a journey. It's not a destination. We pursue excellence by doing the things that we need to do on a regular basis to excel and improve ourselves daily. So today I'm going to share some tools with you that I hope will help you on your life's journey. Now, before I start my presentation, I always like to start off with one of my favorite songs to get me all pumped up and going. And I'm going to need all of your help to help me sing my favorite song. And it's called If You're Happy and You Know It. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray, good job. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! Give yourself a round of applause. Woo! If you don't know it by now, I am what you call an audience participation type of speaker, which means that I will call upon my audience to help me out in my presentation. And I hope you all will volunteer and come down, or I will have to point you out. But I guarantee you that I won't do anything that's going to embarrass you. Also, if you come down and volunteer, I have some treats down here that you're more than welcome to use. I usually have to bribe people, so I am prepared to do that tonight. The other thing I want you to know is that, hey, you can take pictures. You can post them. If I see you with your phone out, it's all good. Matter of fact, you let me know, I might pose for you. The other thing I want you to know is that let your hair down. Relax. Mine is. So we're going to have a little fun here today. So to help me out, I want you to first turn to the person next to you and say, I will participate. Now turn back to that person and say, better you than me. All right, good deal. So just bear with me right here. I may need you to just go to the next slide if that's good. We're getting everything lined up. All right, so today, I am going to talk to you about the importance of pursuing excellence as a champion. How many of you all like being a champion? How many of you? Just tell me, what does champion mean to you? Back there in the back, what does champion mean to you? Doing the little things right? All right, I like that. Give him a round of applause. Who else? Tell me, what does being a champion mean to you? I know you all some champions. Go, tell me. Winning is everything, right? It's not the only thing, but it is the only thing because you don't want to lose. All right, you want to be a champion? Okay, what about over here? Somebody tell me, what does it mean to you to be a champion? Anybody? Come on. Giving your best. That's right, absolutely. Way to go, doctor. Giving your best. And I see our Councilman Charlie Guerrero in the back. What does being a champion mean to you? Being very happy. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. So Vince is going to help me out today. Vince has one of those voices that are like real loud that he's going to project. Vince, you want to come down here for a little bit or you want to stay up there? Okay, you're good, right? All right, I want to hear you loud, all right? So Vince is going to help me read the quotes that are on the left side of my PowerPoint presentation. Vince, if you could read those two quotes for me.
Champions are made from something. They have deep inside of them a desire, a dream, a vision. Champions train, losers complain.
Whoa, good job, Vince. So today I'm going to share with you some tools that I hope that you would be able to use. And in my presentation, what I do is I use each letter in the word champion to bring home my message. The C stands for cultivate healthy, lasting relationships. The H stands for hunger for your dreams and your goals to become a reality. The A stands for adjust your mind for positive thinking. The M stands for master your mind and mind your business. The P stands for practice professional pride. The I stands for involve yourself in your community. The O stands for take ownership of your actions. And the N stands for no matter what you're going through, never, ever quit. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started in the presentation. We'll go to the next slide real quick. And we're going to talk about cultivating good, healthy, lasting relationships. What I found in life, the more people you know, the more opportunity you have to grow. Cultivating good, healthy, lasting relationships are crucial to you having success in life. In fact, as I look out in this audience, when I came to Alamosa over 10 years ago, 14 years ago, 14, I'm telling my age. 14 years ago, I didn't know anyone. And now as I look out in the audience, I see a lot of people that I met over 14 years ago. And over those 14 years, we've been cultivating good, healthy, lasting relationships. Cultivating good, healthy, lasting, working relationships helps you to build trust. Cultivating good, healthy, lasting relationships builds bonds. Cultivating good, working, lasting relationships help build honest communication, which is really crucial for the development in your life. Like a lot of you are right here, you're young, probably in your early 20s or teens, and some of you are in your upper age like me, getting close to the other side of it, you know what I mean? It's all good, but we never get too old to cultivate good, healthy, lasting relationships. When I think about cultivating, I think about planting seeds, and I call them relationship seeds. And when I think about planting seeds, I think about my grandpa. When I was a little boy, my grandpa was a farmer. And in Louisiana, he planted watermelons down south. And I remember as a little boy walking beside my grandpa, watching him take 3 seeds, put them in a mound, take a few steps, put 3 seeds in a mound, take a few steps, put 3 more seeds. And he did that all the way down the row. Now, as a little boy, I said, Grandpa, you're wasting seeds. You're putting 3 seeds, Grandpa, in each mound. Your seeds would go a lot further if you just put 1. Well, my grandpa looked down at me and he shared his unending wisdom with me. Something that I'll never forget. He said, son, the first seed is for the blackbird. The second seed is for the crow. The third seed is for the ground. And that's probably the one that'll grow. See, I tell you that story because not all of the relationship seeds that you plant in your life are going to grow and flourish. Some of them are going to fly away or go away like a blackbird and a crow. But it's so crucial that you keep planting those seeds. Now, most of you all know we're talking about cultivating. When you plant seeds, a lot of times when the seeds are in the ground, you don't even know if they're growing or not. Sometimes people, they get anxious because they don't see anything sprouting up through the ground, so they'll dig it up to see if it's still growing. Sometimes in relationships, you don't always know which relationships are actually growing because they're still up under the ground. But as long as you water those relationships, right? By making sure, when I say water the relationships, what I mean is just make sure that you're providing the nutrients for the seeds to grow. As long as you keep the weeds out of the way of the growth, those seeds will grow and the relationships will start to sprout up. And it's so important for you when you're building these healthy, lasting relationships to make sure that when you meet someone for the first time, you set a good example and you pay attention to them. Because that's the first thing people notice is, were you paying attention? So what I'm going to do to prove my point, I have a gentleman in the back right here. You want to come on down real quick? All right, let's give him a round of applause. Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, how you doing today? Good. All right, man, I wish I was tall like you. Here you go. What's your name?
Darnell Hardeman.
Darnell Hartman. All right, Darnell, where you from?
I'm from Oakland, California.
Oakland, California? Are you a Raider fan?
Of course.
Don't say that too loud. Don't say that too loud. These Broncos, it's okay, we forgive them. All right, okay. And how long you been here?
About 2 years now.
2 years. Okay, good. I'm assuming you play sports, but I don't want to assume, so I know what happens when you assume. So tell me, do you play any sports?
I do football.
Football. Good. What's your major?
Sociology.
Sociology. All right, good deal. Look at there, y'all. Look at there. All right, sociology. Good deal. And you play football. What position you play?
Right guard, right tackle.
Okay.
Offensive line.
So you're going to get paid.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get paid when you
sure.
come out. All right, good deal. And do you have any hobbies?
Work out, listen to music, dance.
Okay.
Man.
All right. You say dance?
Yeah.
Oh, you like that?
Cabbage patch.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
All right.
A little bit of something,
good.
something.
All right, good. All right, good deal. Well, thank you so much, but don't leave.
All right.
So, I want you all to notice that when I first met this young man just up here on the stage, you notice how he gave me a firm handshake. When you meet people for the first time, they're judging you by every motion that you make. Now, if you notice, he gave me a firm handshake, so this is a pop quiz for them. Okay, if they fail this test, they won't get to eat any more food back there, okay? So the first thing I want you all to tell me, what is his name? Darnell. Where is Darnell from? Coleman. What sport does he play? Football. What is he studying? Sociology. What are his hobbies? Dancing. Awesome. Let's give Darnell a round of applause. Good job, Darnell. Thank you so very much, Darnell, for being here today. You get one of the complimentary gifts right there. Just help yourself. And everybody just pay attention to Darnell. You notice he get to pick the first of the treats. Let's give him a round of applause. So when you meet people for the first time, it makes a huge difference. You notice I was asking him questions, and he was not interrupting me, right? You notice the eye contact. Even when I met him for the first time in the back there, when I was just walking around greeting people, he gave me strong eye contact. That let me know that he was focused, and I was focused, and we both were paying attention. So when you're meeting someone for the first time, you don't want to be that type of person who's doing like this right here on their phone, not paying attention. Yeah, what's your name? Mm-hmm. Yeah, hold on, let me get this. Oh, I got to post this. No, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to them. You want your eyes watching, your ears listening. My mama used to tell me all the time, because I used to talk all the time. That's why I'm a motivational speaker and a mayor ever since I was a baby. My mama used to say, Ty, son, good Lord. The good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So you can listen twice as much as you talk. So make sure that you're listening twice as much as you talk. The other thing is you want to make sure that you're following up and following through. Like the young people say, don't ghost nobody, right? Am I right? I'm staying up to the code with the terminology. Yeah, don't ghost nobody. That means call people back. Do what you said you're going to do. If you tell somebody I'm going to hit you back, that means they're going to call you back. If you say that, you call them back. If you say you're going to return an email, return that email. If you get a text and you tell somebody, they can tell you when you read it. I don't know if y'all know that. But yeah, they can tell if you read it. So, my daughter gets so irritated. She's like, Dad, you're so rude. I'm like, why? She's like, you take like 2 days to return my text. I'm like, well, you can call me and I'll talk to you right now. I don't text all the time. But, I found out that's rude. If somebody texts you and you open it and it says read, you better do something. Send a smiley face emoji or something. Do a thumbs up. I got lazy now. I just be thumbsing up in everybody. Yep. The other thing is, a wise man once told me that when we're talking about cultivating good, healthy, lasting relationships, you always want to be building relationships with people. Because the more people you know, the further you'll go in life. Once you become the smartest person in your circle of influence, it's time for you to find more friends. Because you won't be able to grow and learn more if you're the smartest person in your group. And when you meet someone and you go out, don't be talking on your phone. People are watching you. True story. As a mayor, people like to just walk up to me. Yeah. And they say things like, I don't mean to bother you. And I'm like, I'm just eating, but okay. And they'll say, well, I just want to talk to you about that red light off of Main and Ross. It takes too long to turn. Makes me late every morning for work. I'm like, can you leave a little earlier? But a true story. My girlfriend Janine, she's in the audience right there. True story. People watch you. We were out on a date. And one thing that she and I do, because we don't get to see each other a lot during the week because she's busy as a teacher and I'm busy doing all these different things around here. So usually when Janine and I go out to a restaurant for dinner, we turn our phones off. We don't look at them. We put them away or put them on silent and things like that. Well, one night we were at a restaurant here in town, and it was my daughter and her son. I think they just were having one of those days where they just felt like talking to us or something like that. And I try to talk to my daughter since she doesn't live here. So I picked up the phone and I was talking to her for a while. Anyway, we go back to having dinner. A week later, I'm out in the community and a little old lady. I was going to help her walk across the street. I was. Because they still drive too fast down Main Street. I was going to help her walk across the street. She said, "Are you that mayor guy?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. You can say that I'm the mayor guy." She says, "Well, I saw you the other day." I said, "Okay." She says, "I saw you at a restaurant. You were having dinner with a nice young lady sitting across from you." I said, "Yes, ma'am, that was me." She says, "Well, you were on your phone while she was sitting there watching you." She says, "I'm going to give you some advice, Mr. Mayor. You should pay more attention to that young lady sitting across from you than you do your phone." You never know who's watching you. So when Janine and I go out and we go to the restaurant, I leave the phone in the car because I don't want to have to deal with that little old lady. And I know y'all probably saying, "Did you still walk her across the street?" Well, I thought about not doing it. But she didn't have to go across the street. So you want to make sure that you're giving those people your undivided attention. Now, when it comes to cultivating healthy, lasting relationship, if you can go to the next slide for me. Now, these pictures right here are pictures where you see us sitting around dining room tables or restaurant tables or family members. If you look at all these pictures of people up here, these are people who are our family and friends. You'll see at the top it says, "I believe we could solve all the world's biggest problems if everyone would take time to sit around a dinner table and have honest and sincere conversation with one another." Each one of you have everything that you need right now to bring about the positive change that you would like to see in this world. But it starts off by you building relationships and also cultivating relationship and bringing people to sit around the table with you. When you're sitting around that table, what you'll find, if you look at all the different nationalities, different everything, when you come to our house or to where we hang out, it's like a melting pot. Okay? And the good thing about it is that each one of us learn from one another. When you're able to listen and have conversation and dialogue, then that's when you can get an understanding about what's going on in someone else's world. But when we sit around and we stay on an island and we only think about me, myself, and I, you're not doing anything to help bring about the change. So I'm going to challenge you all today to go out in life. Find somebody who's different from you or who come from a different walk of life. Invite them to have lunch. Invite them to your dinner table at home and sit around and just talk. Now, as a mayor, when I go to Thanksgiving dinner, people always say, "Well, there's two things I don't talk about, politics and religion." And guess what they want to talk about when I walk in? Politics and religion. But you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind talking to people because that's how we're able to get an understanding of one another. We may have differences of opinion, but guess what? It's okay to have a different opinion than somebody else. But it's not okay to be a jerk. It's not okay to shut someone out. Always be willing to listen and get a chance to understand where someone else is coming from. Remember, when it comes to cultivating good, healthy, lasting relationships, you could plant healthy relationship seeds by the work that you do every day. Or you could plant poor relationship weeds. They both will grow. So make sure you cultivate good, healthy, lasting relationships. So that's going to take me to the next letter in the word champion. And the H stands for hunger for your goals and your dreams to become a reality. Vince, can you hit me up on those quotes over there?
Yep. Watching something is not enough. You must hunger for it. Your motivation must be absolutely compelling in order to overcome the obstacles that will inevitably come your way. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and something round. How about
So you want to, in life, you have to have goals. I'm just curious, by a show of hands, how many of you have goals? How many have goals? All right, good. That means you're going somewhere. Because a person without goals is like a ship out in the middle of the ocean to where the winds and the waves just tosses it to and fro, and you never know where you're going to land. So you always want to have goals. You want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So you want to be able to make sure that you know when you reach those goals. And then you got to be hungry for your goals and your dreams to become a reality. Les Brown is the gentleman over there to the left where Vince read that quote. I remember seeing him in a motivational presentation one time, and he said, if you got goals, you got to be hungry for your dreams and your goals to become a reality. You got to be more than educated. You got to be more than motivated. You got to be more than dedicated. You got to be hungry. I remember one time I had a job I was applying for, I was selling insurance back in the day. And there was this big, huge company, national company that I wanted to work with. It took me 2 years to get a job interview with this company. I'll never forget it. When I got that interview, I was so excited. I was like, man, I'm so excited. I'm going to hopefully I do good because I've been waiting 2 years for this opportunity. And I remember driving up early because I always show up on time and I always show up prepared. So I had read my notes and everything that I had on a sheet of paper, trying to figure out what kind of interview questions they were going to ask me and everything. And I was trying to get my confidence up, like saying, Ty, you the guy. Ty, you the guy. This is your job, bro. You've been waiting on this for 2 years. It's yours. And I was so confident, and I was ready to go into the interview. And about 5 minutes before I were to get out of my car, my stomach started to growl. How many of you ever had your stomach growl before? My stomach started to growl like, feed me. I was like, oh my goodness, my stomach's growling. Oh my goodness. If my stomach is growling, I'm in that job interview, I'm going to be nervous. I'm not going to do good. So I didn't have enough time to go get anything to eat. So I was sitting in my car and I was going through my glove compartment looking to see if I could find anything to eat. And the only thing I could find to eat were some like packages of ketchup. You know, like that kind you get in a fast food place? I said to myself, well, man, my stomach's growling. If I eat these packages of ketchup, it's just like maybe eating a tomato. Maybe it'll stop my stomach from growling. So I opened up the packages of ketchup. And I slurped them down, still tastes the same. But guess what? It stopped my stomach from growling. Boy, Dr. Jones, I walked into that interview like this right here. I remember sitting down in the interview, and this executive, he looked at me and he said, so, tell me, why should we hire you to represent our company? I looked him in his eyes. I leaned across the desk. I said, you should hire me because I'm hungry and I can make you and your company a lot of money. I was hired on the spot. I was hired because He could tell that I had that burning desire to succeed. He could tell that I was more than motivated. I was more than dedicated. I was hungry. He knew that this guy would be one of his top agents one day. And guess what? He's lucky he hired me. Because I was. And I did. And I stayed hungry because I made sure that I always have goals. Now, when you set goals, after you reach one of your goals, always have another goal to strive for. And I'm just going to ask you, Barsha, can you share with me? Do you have any goals? Give me one.
I want to be an author.
You want to be an author?
Author, like a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You can do that, right?
Can do.
All right, you let me know. I know you will. Anybody else got a goal back there? Someone else? Who has a goal? Hey, somebody has to have a goal. Here, take one of these so they can see you getting candy. There you go. Anybody else have a goal you want to share? Anybody? Yes.
Get straight A's again.
Get straight A's? You mean you got them before? Oh, give a round of applause. Now that's confidence. That's confidence. You notice she says get straight A's again. Letting you know that this is not the first time. I used to hope to get straight C's. Good job. So you always want to have something to strive for once you reach your goals. I remember we had a family goal when my little kids were little. They were like right before you get to kindergarten, preschool. And my son came home from school one day, and they were learning about different states. And I remember he was talking to me about different states, and I was trying to show him on a map the states that he was talking about. So our family decided to come up with a family goal that was a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. We said, hey, how about this? They're little kids right now. Let's make a family goal of seeing all 50 states before they graduate, 12 years from now. That was the goal. I'm proud to say that we were able to see all 50 states before my son graduated. He was a senior when we went to our last state that we saw. The last two states that we saw was Alaska and Hawaii. Those were our goals. And before he graduated, he was able to go tell his friends, yeah, we've been to all 50 states. Now, granted, some of those states we just stepped in and stepped out. But it was accomplishment. So now we have longer, bigger goals. My girlfriend Janine and I, we have a goal to say that we can go to every one of the countries on this list, that once you go to all of them, you can say that you've been around the world. That's our goal. That's our medium-term goal. A lot of people who know me, I plan on living to 122 and a half years old, because that's the longest that someone has lived so far, right? So that's a goal. That's a real long-term goal. I hope I get to see many of you all when I'm celebrating that birthday. But Janine and I have a bigger goal. After we can say we've traveled around the world, we want to be able to hop on one of those Elon Musk space shuttle ship thingies to say that we've been out in space. That's a measurable goal. Now, that means I'm going to have to work a long time to save up for that ticket, but it is a goal. So make sure that you have goals to reach for after you've accomplished them. The other thing is take risk. Don't be fearful. A lot of people I run into, when it comes to being hungry for your goals, they get afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to try new things, because even if it doesn't work out, you still learn something from it. What people do is they walk around and they think of the word fear, F-E-A-R. The acronym for fear stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. I encourage you to replace your fearful thoughts with faith and hopeful thoughts. Because what your mind focuses on is what you will be able to achieve. So don't walk around in fear. Walk around being hopeful. Walk around knowing that you will be able to reach the goals that you set out to achieve. Now, you'll see at the very bottom it says, if you feed your hopes and your dreams with positive action, all of your negative doubts will starve to death. So make sure that you stay hungry for your dreams and goals to become a reality. So that's going to bring us to the next slide. Oh, adjust your attitude to take positive action. Oh my goodness. I'm just curious. How many of y'all know somebody who got a bad attitude? Right? How many of you think they need a checkup from the neck up? It's like every time they come around you, you like, oh my goodness. And if you're not raising your hand, you might want to think about if you that person or not. Attitudes. I like quotes about attitudes. There's a quote that says, your attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Vince, can you read that quote, those quotes right there for me?
Yeah. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Be so positive that negative people can't stand being around you.
Woo! Say that one more time, Vince.
Be positive that negative people can't stand being around you.
Woo! That's positive. I've been that person. One time I got written up at work for being too positive. Put it in my file. Yeah, had an employee talk to HR. HR calls me in, sit down and say, well, Ty, we have a little situation. I said, okay, what's the problem? They said, well, we got an employee complaining. I said, all right, complaining about what? They say you too positive in the morning. I said, what? They say you walk in there with too much of that energy in the morning. I said, well, yeah. She says, and you know you always say that super fantastic day stuff. I said, yeah. I say it. That's me. I said it. If they said I said it, have a super fantastic day, I said it. She says, well, we need to schedule a facilitation mediation between you and this employee. I said, okay. So me and this employee sitting around the table, and the HR person saying, so can you share with me how Ty makes you feel? And she said, well, the thing about Ty is he comes in here every morning with all of this energy, and he's so loud. And I'm just not ready for all that in the morning. And then she says, Ty, is that true? And I can't lie. I'm like George Washington. I can't lie. I was like, yeah, I do that. And then he listening to all these audio books and stuff like this real loud, and his music is loud and all that, because I have to get pumped up in the morning and everything. And I said, yes, all of that is true. And then so the HR person says, so what I'm understanding, she said, what I'm understanding from you is what you're saying is that Ty is just loud in the morning time. She said, no, he's loud all day, but all I'm worried about is in the morning. And so she says, okay, so what about this? What time do you all get to work? And I said, I get there right before 8 o'clock. And she gets there right before 8 o'clock. And she says, okay, Ty, I got the HR person. I got a solution. I said, okay. She says, what about this? What if we have Ty not say any motivational, inspirational, uplifting things until after 9 o'clock? Would that be okay with you? And she was like, yeah, I think that'll work. And Ty, do you think you could refrain from bringing all of that motivational, inspirational stuff until after 9 o'clock in the morning, and we can have an agreement with that? And I said, yeah, I think I can do that. Sign the papers. They put it in my file. And I started obeying because, I follow the rules. But y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, every morning, 8:59, 8:59. I'm in my office. I'm getting ready, and I'm ready to walk down the hall and say, have a super fantastic day, everybody. But you got to be sometimes, like Vince says, be so positive that negative people can't stand being around you. And it's okay. If you get written up, no big deal. But in life, I found it's so important to make sure you hang around the right type of people. Because my grandma used to tell me, she used to tell me this saying, help me fill it out, help me finish it. Birds of a feather do what? One more time, you all are good. Birds of a feather do what?
Flock together.
Birds of a feather flock together when it comes to having a good attitude and being around people with positive attitudes. Birds of a feather flock together. If you're hanging around people who are stealing your joy, taking your energy away, it's time to cut the ties from that. Okay? It's time to just cut them loose. Because in life, this is what I found to be true, y'all. In life, I found that there are two types of people. There are positive people, and then there are negative people. Positive people like to inspire you. Positive people like to encourage you. Positive people like to encourage you to reach for your greatness. And then there are the negative people. Negative people like to latch on to you. And if you don't watch it, when you go out in life and try to pursue your dreams and your goals, these negative people will drain the living life out of you. Oh, when you decide to go and graduate from college in sociology and get your degree, they're going to be like trying to steal your joy, draining your energy. Say, see, I told you not to leave Oakland to go to that Colorado. Boom. I told you they're going to hate on you because you were Oakland Raider fan. I told you not to listen to that crazy so-called motivational speaker, Ty Coleman. Before you know it, negative people will drain you, suck the living life out of you. But I want you to know something. When you have negative people around you, sometimes you got to detach yourself from these negative people. And it's okay. Guess what? It's okay to burn bridges. It's okay to burn bridges, to create space between you and the people who are not right for you in your life. So make sure that you choose to associate with positive people. So how do you maintain a positive attitude? I'm sharing with you all real life stuff. I do everything I'm talking about every single day. I told you pursuing excellence is a journey, not a destination. So what I do is I do this every day to improve myself. One thing I try not to do is I don't worry. I try to be happy. Even when I'm having a down day, I very seldom talk myself into that down day. I encourage myself. And then when I feel like I'm having a little tough time, I'll sing the old song. Don't worry. Be happy. Okay, everybody join in. You got it. Don't worry. Be happy. All right. Yeah. I might need to join the choir over here in the college. All right. So when you're in the workplace or you're in your dorm room or you at home and you got that negative person around you, trust me, it's a repellent when you sing that song. And if they're in this room right now, they'll know why you're singing that song. So whenever something happens like this, people coming around you negative, just start just say, yeah, trust me, it works. It's a repellent. Try it. Text me tomorrow and let me know if it works. The other thing is have an attitude of gratitude and not an attitude of entitlement. When I go talking to these companies and corporations all across the United States, they always talk to me about, man, all these employees feel like they're entitled. They're entitled. They don't know what work is. They don't know about putting in all the hours in the sweat like we used to. And I'm like, well, they ain't us no more. You know? And you got to find a way to talk to those people who are maybe feeling like they're entitled, but don't go into a job thinking that people owe you anything. They don't owe you anything. You're supposed to go in and do what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to do more than what you're supposed to do, and then they're entitled to pay you. But you got to make sure that you do more than what's expected of you. And the thing I want to talk about is always have an attitude of gratitude. Be thankful. Be thankful. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I'm thankful that I woke up. I have yet to not be thankful for waking up. In 58 years, I've been pretty good. I'm trying to make it to 122 and a half. Got many more to go. But I first start my day off by being thankful, have an attitude of gratitude. The other thing is encourage others daily. That's what I get joy from, encouraging and inspiring others. They may be having a tough day where they're feeling like they're down on themselves. And my job is to encourage them to say, hey, don't feel bad. It's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. I have one of my employees who works with me in the audience right now. I'm not going to call you out and embarrass you or anything like that. But she'll tell you that I try to keep everybody positive and I try to give them hope and encouragement. See, because in life, unfortunately, there are a lot of people, you know what they do? They get joy in tearing people down to build themselves up. If you got to tear somebody down to build yourself up, you are worthless. Don't be that type of person. Be the person who inspires, encourages, invests in others. And when you do that, it comes back to you in positive ways. And the other thing is, think happy thoughts. Somebody told me this one time, and I don't know if they just told it to me or not, so I don't know if this is true or not, but for me it is. It may not be true for you all. But somebody told me you can only think of one thing at a time. Now, maybe they were telling me I had a one-track mind. I don't know. I don't know if y'all let me know, but they said, look, you can only think of one thing at a time, really focusing on it. So if you're going to think about something, think happy thoughts, right? If you got a one-track mind and that's all you can do, you got a choice. You could choose to think something positive, or you have a choice to think of something negative. Negative is going to cause anxiety and stress and hypertension, high blood pressure, and all those things that'll kill you. Happiness brings you joy and hope and energy and everything that you need to be good in life. So if you're going to be choosing your thoughts, think happy thoughts. I do something. You all probably don't. You probably just saw me do this a couple of times. You probably think, what's wrong when he got someone to say, hey, no. When I do right there, that's a subliminal thing that I do. I do this every time I give a speech. Because one day, I plan on speaking in an audience to where there's probably 100,000 people in a stadium. Might be at the Super Bowl. And when I do this, I think about the joy that I'm having right now, speaking to the many people I have right now. In order for me to speak to hundreds of thousands, I have to be happy with speaking with the groups that I have. I have to be thankful and have that attitude of gratitude. I've given presentations, just like I'm giving right now, to one person. I've showed up to a university one time. They forgot to do the marketing. The only person showed up was the camera guy. I said, well, there's no need to take pictures today, but you sit right there. I'm going to give this speech. And I gave that speech just like I was speaking to 100,000. And that's what you do. You be thankful and have an attitude of gratitude for the little things you have. Bigger things will come. if you're not thankful for the little things that you have, will you even appreciate the big things when they come your way? So always have a good, positive attitude and think happy thoughts. And have an attitude of gratitude. And the last thing it says, don't stir the pot. Wait a minute. Before I slip to that next slide, we got any pot stirrers in here? Anybody? Y'all stir? Oh, you stir the pot? Oh, you ain't going to like this next slide. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next slide. Vince, help me out. Help me out with the quote over there. Can you see it?
Uh-huh. If you are willing to stir a pot, you better be willing to eat what comes out of it.
Say it again, Vince.
If you are willing to stir a pot, you better be willing to eat what comes out of it.
Okay, Vince, help me out. Read that quote at the top.
Champion.
You're good, man. You're good, Vince. Go ahead.
When you stir a pot, you create a hot mess.
Okay, let's do the one at the top first.
Sorry. Stirring the pot is considered an expression that means to intentionally cause trouble and controversy or agitate whatever situation at hand.
Okay, stirring the pot, y'all. So I should have probably read that before y'all raised y'all hands. But stirring the pot is not really a good thing to do, okay? But what's even worse sometimes is when you're stirring the pot is for those people to bring the ingredients to put into the pot. And the ingredients, go ahead and read the next quote there, Vince. When you stir the pot.
When you stir the pot, you create a hot mess.
Huh? One more time.
When you stir the pot, you create a hot mess.
What's this right here? It's steaming. What are some of the ingredients, Vince?
Ingredients: drama, gossip, assumption, and rumors and jealousy.
What else to say, Vince?
Nothing good ever comes out of that recipe.
Nothing good ever comes out of that recipe. Janine helped me with that quote. That's her right there, y'all. Just kidding. We worked on it together. But nothing good comes from stirring the pot. Nothing but a hot mess. Now, you got a choice when people are stirring the pot and starting rumors and spreading gossip and things like that. You know how all that always starts? You have one person spreading a rumor. People have rumors about me all the time. Sometimes I'll be like, man, I wonder is that true? I mean, people start rumors all the time, and they always start what? You ain't hear from me. Well, who did I hear from? Well, I ain't saying this, but, you know, so-and-so got a brand new truck the other day, and you know how much we get paid. They got to have something else going on. So-and-so got this promotion, and you know they weren't deserving. I ain't saying nothing, but I saw them go out to lunch together the other day. Don't even know if they went to the same restaurant or anything, but people start the rumors and the gossips. It's not good. It's not good. If you're out there stirring the pot, find a way to not stir. But real good pot stirrers, they don't care what you say. They love doing this. Just stirring it. You bring them a little drama. You bring them a little gossip. You bring them some assumptions, some envy, some rumors, some jealousy. Don't be jealous of people, you all. The reason why we have a society where people feel inferior with the way they are is because people are trying to judge themselves against something that's not measurable. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I make better TikTok videos than a lot of people make TikToks. But I'm not jealous that I don't get 10 million views. I'm actually upset. There's a difference between being jealous and upset. No, but I don't know what kind of time these people put into making their videos and the energy and the effort, and I can't expect to compare myself to that person. When you're playing the comparison game, it's called a comparison trap. Because none of us know exactly what another person is going through. You can't measure up against somebody when you don't know what's going on in their lives. So quit trying to compare yourself to others. People always ask me, when they take a picture of me, do you want me to use a filter? I'm like, no, I ain't no filter. You just use my regular looks. I'm good. You put a filter. Because I want to make sure that you're measuring me for who I am, not for what I'm not. I ain't going to lie to y'all. This is true. I probably shouldn't say this. Okay. So, I speak all over, I've given speeches all over America. And people send me a picture to let me know what they look like when I show up to give my presentation. Sometimes I just be walking by them people, and I'm like, and with Ty, I'm the one, you remember I sent you my picture? Oh, you? Oh, okay. Oh, I saw your nose, I can recognize it. So just be yourself and don't worry about comparing yourself to others, because when you compare yourself, it actually makes you feel inferior to others, and there's no need for that. And at the bottom, my quote right here says, attitudes are contagious. Make sure that your attitude is worth catching. Attitudes are contagious. Make sure that your attitude is worth catching. Okay, let's go to the next one right there. The next one is, master your mind and mind your business. Go ahead, Vince. Help me out with that quote.
Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do.
Say it one more time.
Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do.
If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. The one thing you can control is what you think. You control it. You can think what you want to think. You got that freedom and that will to think. So the way you can have more creative thoughts is invest in your mind. Read books. Listen to audios. Look at documentaries. Invest positive things into your mind. Because how many of you heard that adage before? Garbage in what?
Garbage out.
Oh, this is a smart group. One more time. Garbage in what?
Garbage out.
Garbage out. I like to take that a step further. You put garbage in, some of that garbage is going to stay. No matter how you try to take it out. So you want to make sure you protect your mind and what you allow to go in your mind. Now, if you pour darkness into your mind, and darkness to me, it may be different to you, but whatever that darkness is, darkness in, darkness out. Hope in, hope out. Make sure you control what goes into your mind. Now, for myself, during the day, I get like hundreds of emails that I don't read. Because all I read is the first heading of them. And my staff, they'll tell me, did you get my email? No, I didn't get your email. I open your emails. Why don't you open my emails? Because you work with me. You can walk in my office and tell me what you will tell me. I ain't reading no email for you to tell me that. But when you're reading things, make sure you read things that are gonna stimulate your mind, something that's gonna help you develop and expand your thinking. It's so important that you guard your mind and be conscious of what you do. So throughout the day, people always ask me this. They say, do people, as married, do people call you and complain? What you think? They don't call me to say congratulations. Well, some people do. I did get a congratulation call the other day, so some people do. Okay? But when people call me, you know, I could tell when they got a question or when they want to tell me something. When people say, hey, Ty, you know, I'm real relaxed. When you call me Ty, I'm like, okay, Dr. Tannenberg, he'll call me sometime. Hey, Ty, how you doing, man? Hey, we got this going on at the university. You want to come over and hang out? We go do this. I'm like, all right, Doc, yeah, we go do that. You know, and then some people that call me Mr. Mayor. Oh, shoot. When you say Mr. Mayor, it means there's something broke. Some potholes, some red lights not working, some street need to be fixed. There's something to complain about. But by the end of the day, you all, when I get home, I'm drained. And I'm being real with you. I'm going to be real with you because I'm sharing with you real life experience and tools that I hope you can use in your life. No, it's not. I know I may look perfect, but I'm not. I struggle too. I have hard times. At the end of the day, I have a routine that I do that helps me with my mind. At the end of the day, when I get home, Right before I go to bed, the first thing I do is I dump the junk. Okay? Let's repeat after me. Dump the junk.
Dump the junk.
Dump the junk.
Dump the junk.
So, y'all don't know this, and don't report me. But in my room, in my house, I have this big, huge, gigantic shredder, imaginary shredder, right next to my bed. Right before I go to sleep, I take all of the negative things that happened that day out of my mind, and I imagine that I'm dumping them in that big shredder, and they're going like zzz, zzz, zzz. And then in that big giant shredder, sometimes there are some people I put in that shredder.
Oh, snap.
And I put it on Chunky. And it's like, I can imagine them going, kaboom, 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 until they disappear. I don't think that's a crime. But that's what I do. Now, after I dump the junk out of my mind, I put a lock on my mind's door. And then I start thinking about the things that I'm grateful for. I think about the places that I've been and the places I want to go. I think about the people that I met within that day, the people who brought joy, the people who smiled, the people who gave me some hope. And then I tuck myself in the bed and I try to go to sleep. Now some nights I can't fall asleep. So I found a remedy, and I encourage every one of you to try this. When I first started having problems going to sleep, somebody said, "Why don't you count sheep?" I'm like, I ain't never seen a sheep. What do I want to do counting sheep? I don't see sheep on a regular basis, so that was keeping me up, trying to count sheep. Okay? That didn't make sense. So, yeah, for real, you laughing, it's true. Yeah. So what I started doing was counting my blessings. Counting the things that I was thankful for. And every night, I do this every night. I try my best to get to 100 of counting those things. I have yet to make it past 70 before I'm sleeping like a baby. And then, when I go to sleep, I have a routine. Okay? Trust me, you all might want to do this. First, when I wake up, I tell you, what do I do when I wake up and open my eyes? I'm what? Thankful for what? Why?
For another day.
For another day, right? All right, right. That's important. That's the first thing I do. And then, after I do that, I always make it a point to get out on the right side of the bed. Yeah, literally the right side of the doggone bed. I'm going to start my day off right. I start off on the right side of the bed. Now, some of y'all in relationships, and you got somebody sleeping next to you, you might have to do like this. But tomorrow, I want you to get out on the right side of the bed. It sets the tone for the rest of your day. The next thing I do is I go in the restroom and I brush my teeth, take a shower, do my hair, and then I put on Champion. Look at it. Champion. Champion by Old Spice. This is not a paid advertisement, but I'm sharing with you what I do. Old Spice makes underarm deodorant, and they have different titles. But I choose to start my day off right by wearing Champion. Can you all imagine if I was an Old Spice model? You too could smell like sugar, spice, and everything nice when you wear Champion by Old Spice. I'm Ty, God. But I do that, once again, to set the tone for the rest of my day. Even if my hair may be messed up, I smell good. You know what I mean? So that's how I start my day. I encourage you to find unique, fun ways to start your day and control what goes into your mind. The other thing you can do is take advantage of learning opportunities, attend workshops. And then the other thing I want you to remember is master your mind and mind your business. Too many people in this world don't mind their own doggone business. How many of y'all know somebody who need to mind their... Oh, you raised your hand fast. Girl, you did it like... Whoa. I said, how many... Ooh. I like, what's your name? Michaela. Michaela knows somebody who needs to mind their business. And if y'all are watching right now, y'all need to mind your business, okay? So, master your mind and mind your business. You do not have to solve everybody else's doggone problems. I learned this a long time ago. If a person doesn't ask you for your opinion or advice, don't be volunteering it. I do it sometimes, and Janine lets me know, and she has a nice way of doing it. Janine is a preschool teacher, okay? So I tell people the reason the good Lord put her in my life is because he knew that I was like a preschooler, and I needed somebody who knows how to be compassionate and understanding and not too mean. So sometimes she'll tell me something, and I'll volunteer a solution. And she'll say, Ty, thank you for your recommendation, but I didn't ask for your opinion. Now, that hurts. But I respect her for telling me that, because that means I'm not really here to talk to you about solving a problem. I just want you to listen. Okay? Some of you all in relationships and you feel you got to solve all the problems and you got to get in everybody else's business, when sometimes all the person wants you to do is just be there and listen. They just want to be able to talk and get it out. So you have to know when that time comes that, hey, you don't have to fix everything for everybody. Master your mind, but more importantly, mind your doggone business. All right? Okay, so you become what you think about most. So make sure that you choose to think positive thoughts. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Practicing professional pride. I need you all to help me fill in these two blanks right here, okay? Help me out. You never get a second chance to make a what? First impression. One more time. You never get a second chance to make a what?
First impression.
First impression. Most people judge you within the first 7 seconds of looking at you. I know. Some of y'all, when you saw me walk in,
Well, that man's cool.
No, he chill.
you thought, man, he must be a model. He's cool, right? Yeah, I thought I saw him on that Old Spice commercial. But most people judge you within the first 7 seconds. So it's important that you practice professional pride in everything that you do. The way you carry yourself, the way you shake a person's hand, the way you look people in your eyes. Like this group right here, these students right here are good. They just give me good eye contact like this. Some of them give me head nods and everything. Right? Good, good. People judge you the way you appear. Okay? I could be dead broke right now, but I don't look like it. Right? But people will judge you by what you say. I could look intelligent, but if I say things that don't make sense, then they're going to judge, oh, this guy just looks smart. So you want to make sure that you practice professional pride in everything you do. Now, this is where I have audience participation, okay? This is where I just ask you to help me out. Anybody can just, and I'll bring you some candy. If you could just tell me, how do you practice, what are some things you could do to practice professional pride in your life or in the workplace or in school? Yes.
My dad told me not to be using slang, like when I'm talking in.
Okay.
You know,
what's your name?
My name is Ward.
Ward?
Ward.
Okay, Ward.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, you get to pick a choice. Your dad said, don't be using slang.
Yeah.
Why do you think your dad said that?
He said, because if you use slang, then it goes like back to the perception. They think your vocabulary is not up to par.
That's right. If you use slang, they think your vocabulary is not up to par. My dad told me the same thing That's why I try not to say y'all.
Yeah, you talking like a say, you feel me?
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, that's what you're talking. Yeah,
Yeah, you talking
but
like say that.
yeah, don't say that. That's right. But I'm from Texas. Now, most of you who know me, you don't hear me going around saying y'all. Y'all, you don't say it because people judge me automatically when you say slang. Now it's okay to say you all sometimes and things like that, but like he said, his dad told him don't use slang. Right? Good deal. Good deal. Let's give him a round of applause. Anybody else? How do you practice professional pride? Yes.
Walking into the building with confidence.
Woo! Walking in the building with confidence. Can you show us how you do that? Come up here. Come up here.
There you go,
Show
kid.
it. Show it. Let's give a round of applause. Show us your confidence walk.
I'm gonna go outside and then come back in.
Okay, you go outside. You go out. You come back. You got this. I already can tell you got a confident walk.
Hi everyone, how are you today?
Yeah. I like that. I like that. When you have a confident walk, you're confident. I mean, did you see that walk? Hey, everybody. It's so important. What else can you do? Thank you so very much. Get your candy. Get your treat. What else can you do to practice? Yes.
Keep good eye contact.
Keep good eye contact. Absolutely. Why is eye contact important? Having good eye.
People think that you're actually listening to them.
Absolutely. You're making good eye contact right now. Good job. Come down and get your candy. Give yourself a round of applause. All right, in the back, in the back, in the back. What are some things you can do? Yes.
Well, I work as a custodian, so I make sure like all the classrooms that I clean are clean so the students can have a nice learning environment.
Oh, wow. You take pride in your work. Good job. Come on down. Get you one of these treats. Come on down. Good job. Yes.
I'd say just look representative, you know, like look representative, be yourself, you know, just don't look, you know, get off in the hood, you know.
That's right.
That's what I always been taught or been told, all of that. So.
I've been told that too. He said, look presentable. Don't look ghetto or like you from the hood. What that means, for people who don't know what that means, wear a doggone belt. Okay?
Pull the pants up.
Pull your pants up. You heard the story too, right? All right?
Pull them up.
Act like you got some sense. Okay? So that's important. It's important, okay, to do that. And one more thing you can do to get you on the streets. What else can you do to practice professional pride? Anybody? Yes, Jeff.
Know what you're talking about.
Know what you're talking about. Let's give him a round of applause. Who knows what you're talking about? So this gentleman right here, he runs the museum downtown Alamosa. He knows what he's talking about. Trust me. He knows what he's talking about. I've been on the tour a couple times, and it's so important to know your craft, know your job, know what your responsibilities are. And by doing those things, people will know that you're practicing professional pride. Good job, Jeff. Come get you one of these treats. Give a round of applause. Here's some other things you can do. Take on additional responsibilities at work or in college or in home without having a fit. Don't be getting no attitude. I know I shouldn't be saying slang. But at work, when somebody asks you to do a little bit more than what's expected of you, do it. Don't get an attitude with it and be huffing and puffing like it's the last thing in the world you want to do. Because sometimes people test you. My team will tell you I test them all the time. I tell them, number one, first thing, don't you ever come in my office with a problem unless you already know a way to have a solution. Because if you're going to tell me a problem, I'm expecting to hear a solution. And they'll come to my door, get almost in, and then they'll say, okay, let me go back. Got a problem, but oh, no. I got this problem. I want to talk to Ty, but I got to get a solution. What you think we need to do? Okay, all right, we got it. Am I right, Dre? So they come in, they'll say, we got a problem, but we got a solution. So don't you worry. I'm like, I'm not worried, because I know you ain't gonna talk to me unless you got a solution. So go extra, do the extra mile whenever you can a chance. Try not to get an attitude when people ask you to do a little bit more. Function without constant need for reminders. People don't like that, whether you're at work, or whether you're in school, or whether you're playing sports, or whether you're in a relationship. Guys, they don't like reminding you to pick up after yourself. You might hear it a lot, but it ain't fun. So just pick up after yourself. Okay? So just think about that. People don't like having to constantly remind you of different things. If they're doing that, that's not a way of practicing professional pride. One thing you can do is be proactive. If you have somebody in your life who's used to trying to remind you to do everything, do some of those things before they say it. No, I got you. You ain't gonna tell me that today, right? Find a way to be proactive with doing things instead of having people give you constant reminders. Have integrity in your work duties. Always be your best. Take the lead on projects. Follow up and follow through, and provide good communication. Good communication is so crucial, you all. Communication is the biggest challenge we have on a daily basis because of the misunderstandings we have. Is because we don't have that communication. And then find out how people communicate. Okay? When you meet somebody for the first time, if they're a person who like to just text you and you're expecting them to call you, they're probably never going to call you. That's not the way they communicate. But if you text them, they'll text you right back. And if you meet somebody who, let's say, and you're in a relationship, I learned this when I read a book one time talking about love languages. There's several different types of love language. If you're in a relationship with a person to where you have to tell them that you love them in order for them to know that you love them, but you never tell them, but you buy them stuff all the time. You buy them stuff all the time. And you give them stuff, and you're like, shoot, I love you because I buy you this stuff. That's not registering if you don't tell them. And if you're a person in a relationship to where a person wants you to show appreciation by buying things sometimes, but you don't buy anything, you don't take them out on a date, you don't go to the movies, you don't do anything fun, but you tell them all the time, I love you to death. Well, I'm going to die with you doing nothing. You got to make sure you understand the person's love language as well. So communication is crucial in all relationships. So make sure it's okay to ask people, how do you communicate? How do you want me to communicate with you? Do you want me to call you? Do you want me to send you an email? Do you want me to send you a text? Do you want me to send you one of those Facebook messaging things? True story. Okay, I'm going to tell you a true story. Janine, so Janine and I started dating several years ago. I can't count right now in my head, so forgive me for not knowing, but it's been a long time. So I got to tell y'all this story. So we both had just got on Facebook, okay? Just got our Facebook thingy, and I get a message thingy from the Facebook message saying, hi, would you like to go out for a cup of coffee? And so I get this message, and it's the only message I ever gotten. So my daughter was there. I said, hey, this lady sent me this thing about coffee. I don't want to be sending no message to everybody on Facebook. Can you show me how to respond? So my daughter's like, Dad, it's no problem. You just do it like this. What you want me to type? I just put, okay, we'll do coffee, something like that. And then she sent it. I said, you sure didn't go to everybody on Facebook? She said, no, it didn't. So eventually we went out for a cup of coffee, and we started talking, being friends, and several months later we began dating. Later on I found out Janine had her, was it your daughter? Her daughter helped her send the message. My daughter helped me respond. And Janine doesn't even drink coffee. Ooh.
But it worked.
But it worked. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so when it comes to practicing professional pride, I want you all to know this. There's no traffic jam when you go
the extra mile in life. So always find ways to do more than what's expected of you, because you never know who's watching you. Someone may be watching you that they feel that they may want you to be on their team because of the work you do. So make sure you practice professional pride in everything you do. All right, we're ready for the next one. Involve yourself in your community. Oh, I love this. When I first got to Alamosa, back in 2010, I realized in order for me to be successful in this community, I had two choices. The first choice was I could wait for the community to embrace me, or the second, I could choose to embrace the community. I chose the latter. And it has made all the difference in the world. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm from Houston, Texas, okay? Big city. Huge, bright lights, big buildings, traffic, people everywhere. Diversity like crazy. I get to Alamosa and I'm driving around and say, what in the world do people do around here? I'm like, I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't find something to do. I said, I'm gonna go cuckoo. You got 3 stoplights and you out of town. Where I grew up, it took you 3 stoplights to get out of your subdivision. I was like, man, what have I got myself into? So what I decided to do was, I said, shoot, I better start volunteering, doing something. Because when I would go home, there was nothing else really to do. So I started volunteering. And you'll see, right here, that's Evergreen Nursing Home. Read that quote there right for me from events. What does it say?
Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world.
Can transform the world. So I started volunteering at Evergreen Nursing Home. How many of y'all know where Evergreen Nursing Home is right around the corner, right? I started volunteering there. You want to know why? Because I knew they wouldn't tell me no. I knew they needed help. I was in charge of bingo night. Yeah, I was good too. Well, when I would show up on bingo night, all those old people would be coming down the hall and with their walkers, click, clack, in their wheelchairs rolling down the hall. Ty is here. I remember one night I asked the nurse, I said, hey, why do all these old people get so excited when I come up here on bingo night? She says, Ty, you're so loud, you're the only one that they can hear. I would shout out the letter and number B4. Little old lady would say, before and after. I would shout out the letter and number I-25. This little old man would say, that's the way you get to Denver. Oh, I had so much fun. The first people I met were the people in the nursing home. I would go and read to them, and I would go there and help them with anything that they needed in their room, because they reminded me of my grandmother and my grandparents, and I knew that they enjoyed me being there. So in doing so, I started building relationships. Some people in the community would come in and it's like, who's this dude in the room with my grandma? Well, that's Ty, honey. He reads to me. You be nice to Ty. Keep going, Ty. And I'll keep reading to him. Now, it's a true story. Y'all don't know this, but it's true. There was a lady at Evergreen Nursing Home who used to date Elvis Presley. Did you all know that? Yeah, she used to tell me that every day. Every day I would go in there, she said, you know, I used to date Elvis. And I was like, yeah. So, you know, I'm like looking at her. I'm like, well, about his age, maybe. I'm looking at her eyes. Well, you might have been Elvis type, you know. And so what I would do is to make sure she was telling the truth, I asked her to repeat the story the next day. And every day it was the same story. And every day I said, oh man, she really did meet Elvis. And one day she told me, Ty, you know I used to date Elvis? but Priscilla didn't like it that much. But by building those relationships with those people in the nursing home, I was able to build relationships with their families. When I first came to Alamosa, I couldn't cook and I didn't have a lot of resources for food. So when people invite me over, say, hey, we're having a party. Would you like to come over? Yeah, I'll be glad to come over. And that's how I ate a lot of time, healthy food, by being invited. And then what happened is I went from not knowing anybody in this community to where just about now I know everybody in this community. It's so important that you make sure that you involve yourself in your community. There's a gentleman back there in the back. I'm not going to put him on the spot, but his name is Roscoe. Roscoe is the president of the San Luis Valley Theater Company. I met Roscoe when I first got to Alamosa. I was looking for some CD covers at Walmart, and because I was going to give a motivational speech in Texas, and he saw me just looking at them and putting them back on the shelf, and looking at them and putting them back on the shelf, and he's like, he said, hey, you need some CD covers? I said, yeah, but I don't know if I can afford to get these right here. And he says, well, I got a lot of these CD covers. He says, I'll give them to you if you want them. I said, really? He says, yeah, I'll give them to you. Just meet you the next day, whatever. And so I meet Roscoe, and he comes and gives me a whole bunch of empty CD covers because I put my CDs in them to sell them. And he didn't charge me one dime. He told me what he did. He told me that he puts on theater shows across the San Luis Valley and things like that. And then I told him, I said, you know what? One day, you and I are going to share the stage together. A few years passed. He and I shared the stage together, acting, giving people hope and encouragement. And from time to time, he and I still do that this day because of the relationship that we built. That's why it's so important to make sure that you embrace people in your community and not wait for people to embrace you. Give Roscoe a round of applause, everybody. Raise your hand, Roscoe. They can see you. Thank you. So,
6 shows together.
that's right, 6 shows together. I didn't tell y'all I'm like Denzel. Oh, no. Sorry, Denzel. But anyway, so we want to make sure that you don't wait for people to embrace you. The problem we have in society now is that a lot of people are wait for people to walk up to you to say hi. Well, she ain't say hi to me. Well, I ain't going to say hi to you. You got to sometimes just say, hey, how you doing? Great. Good. Nice to meet you. Good. Oh, firm handshake. Good. Good. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm super fantastic. Don't tell HR. You don't always have to wait for people to embrace you. Be the one to embrace others. Introduce yourself to them. Call a meeting before you're waiting on them to call you. You call them and have a meeting. Dr. Tanberg, he calls me in and he said, hey, you the mayor, I want to meet with you and talk with you. And he and I been all over everywhere together just about at all these different events now. But we built a bond right away and have a good relationship. He and I are in similar positions. We get people asking questions or having to be demanding of time and things like that on a regular basis. So sometimes he and I will just talk to each other and just have general, simple conversations that we can't just talk to anybody about. He and I call each other from time to time, shoot each other a text or a smiley face or some encouraging things like, hey, I saw you did this. Good job. Way to go. And when it comes from both of us sending things to each other, not because we're feeling like we're obligated, but it's making you feel like you appreciate what people are doing in your community. It really makes you feel involved. Now, you'll see I'm also a youth football coach. We were undefeated. I had 2 undefeated seasons in youth 5th and 6th grade football. I'm proud of that. Yep. Give us good. You see I represent over here at ASU. Right there, okay, good. You see me reading to kids right here at elementary schools. I love reading to kids because when I grew up, I had a learning challenge. Some people call it disability, but it was a challenge. I was real slow, and it took me a long time to learn how to read. So now I give back by reading to kids in the school. And then I do silly, crazy, fun, stupid things. That's me. If you're all trying to figure out which one is the pig, okay. That's the pig. And that's me kissing a pig. And you're probably saying, why are you kissing a pig? Well, because I was asked. To make a simple story short, Madison said, hey, Ty, I'm trying to raise money. If I reach this goal, will you kiss a pig? In front of everybody. I'm like, yeah, I'll kiss a pig. So I was thinking she wasn't going to raise enough. It motivated Maddie. She raised more than enough. We were at the Elks Club, and it's full of people. Full of people. Maggie brings her pig. I'm on stage, and I'm like, man, this is real. I look at the pig, and the pig looks at me, and I'm like, look, don't be acting like you don't want to kiss me. So I look at the pig. And they say, okay, you're going to have to kiss it. I said, all right, hold on. I don't rush into love, okay? Hold on. I licked my lips, make sure they were soft. All right, piggy. This little piggy went to market. Let's go. And kid, this picture right here is me kissing it. But what you don't know is this is me kissing it the second time. The pig has some soft snout. I mean, I was like, I did a double take. I was like, oh.
How did Janine feel about it?
I was like, oh, how did Janine feel about it? Were you jealous? Not really. So the thing about it was, what people said, Ty, did you notice you closed your eyes? I thought everybody closed their eyes when they kissed. But that's me with my eyes closed. I was like, but I kissed the pig. Now people laughed. People thought it was funny, and some people thought I was crazy and things like that. But one thing I was doing is being a part of the community. Helped her raise money for her cause. People got a chance to see a different side of me, and now people ask me to do other crazy, stupid stuff. I've done it. I rode a bull at the rodeo. Yep. In Monte Vista to raise money for an early childhood center. And I thought I was going to ride it for 8 seconds because I'm from Texas. When you're from Texas, you can ride a bull because you were born in Texas. You may not have ever rode a bull, but that's what you can do. And I thought that. I thought I could ride that bull. I showed up. I was dressed too, so my goal was to ride the bull for 8 seconds so we could raise all this money for this early childhood center. I had on this fancy cowboy hat that was brand new. I never worn before. My goal was going to throw that hat up in the audience right there, do a bow, and walk off into the sunset. So I show up to get on the bull. And the cowboys who were there, they were like, you're going to ride a bull in what you're wearing? I said, yeah, man. What? I had on my fancy boots. I had on my designer jeans. And I had a fancy shirt. I wasn't planning on hitting the ground. I was going to ride that bull. They said, you can't ride a bull without boots, the right kind of boots. So this one cowboy take off his boots, and he put them on me. Another cowboy said, hey, do you have the right kind of vest? I was like, I got a dress vest, but that ain't like, you need a steel vest just in case the bull steps on you. He took off his vest, put it on me, and then they said, do you have the rope to hop on the bull? Because everybody bring their own rope. I'm like, I ain't no rope. Look, I'm here for a photo op. I'm going to ride this bull. I didn't come here with all of that. So all of the cowboys, they all pitched in and put gear on me to wear. And I got on the bull, and they told me how to put my hand right here and do that right there on the rope and said, hold on. That's all you can do is hold on. And I was like, oh, I got this. I got 8 seconds up in this bad boy. And then he said, nod your head when you're ready. So when I got ready, I looked down and I said, oh, shoot, this is a real bull.
You best believe it.
And they like, and the bull doing all this with the cage and all this right here. And they say, nod your head. I'm like, I ain't ready. So eventually I put my hand up. I nod my head. 1 second. It's out the cage. 2 seconds. The bull's turning to the right. Ty's going to the left. 3 seconds. The bull's irritated. Ty's scared now. 3.9 seconds. Ty is airborne. Like the Matrix. On the ground. In a pile of manure. Ooh.
Damn.
The bull kicks the back of the vest. And the bull looks back at me and say, sucker. I didn't get a chance. I'm dusting off myself. All my clean clothes no longer clean. I didn't get a chance to throw my hat because I lost it somewhere in those 3.9 seconds. The bull knocked me down. But I got back up. In life, you're going to get knocked down from time to time. You're going to have a bull in your life. But what's important is not how many times you get knocked down. What's important is that you find a way to get back up. So people ask me now, are you going to try it again? Now, I was 53 or 4. I was a lot younger now. I'm 58. I still have dreams about that bull. For those of you who are listening, that bull name was Pooper Scooper. After he kicked me on my back, I understand where it got his name from. Because they were about to pick up a Pooper Scooper from me. So, one day I probably will ride the bull again. And I'm going to get my 80 seconds. But for right now, I'm just good with knowing that I had the opportunity to participate in a community event and ride a bull. So make sure you get involved in your community, and this is why it's important, you all. What I found out is that in life, most people won't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And the way you show you care is by being involved in other people's lives and being involved in your community. So make sure that you find ways to participate in your community and get involved. Let's go to the next slide. Go ahead. Read these 2 right here for me, Vince.
Holding a grudge is letting someone live rent-free in your head.
Ooh, go ahead, keep going.
Holding a grudge is like drinking poison expecting the other person to die. Let it go.
Whoa! What does the top one say?
One of the quickest ways to have people lose respect for you is not take ownership of your actions. A true leader takes ownership and responsibility for their actions.
Take ownership. If you want to be a leader, you want to exceed, and you want to have excellence in your life, on your journey, you have to take ownership of your actions. When you do something wrong or you do something bad, take ownership. Say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. My fault. Take ownership. People will respect you when you take ownership of your action. And then you got to forgive people. If you want to be forgiven, you got to also forgive. Now I'm going to share a personal story with you that I'm going to try to make it through it. I just now been able to start talking about it. But Janine told me, Ty, you're going to have to start telling people. Because people don't sometimes know that you go through stuff. And when you share your story, it can help somebody. So I'm going to do my best to tell you this story. It's a true story. Well, in life, I was married for 21 years, almost 21 years. And one day, my wife says, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee at the coffee shop. I said, sure, let's go. Go to the coffee shop, sit down to drink a cup of coffee. And she says, Ty, you are a good person. You're a good man. You're a great father to the kids. But I don't love you anymore. I want a divorce. I've been married 20 years, you know, I'm thinking I'll get a gold watch or something. Instead, I get served divorce papers. The sad thing was, right when I was about to say, what about counseling? Because that's what people going through a divorce say, right? Because I saw it on TV. That's what I said. I was about to say, what about? And she said, did the hand, speak to the hand. No. Don't even think about counseling. We're way past that. So I was hurt. I was bitter. I was angry. I started carrying all of that around. My pain, my anger, my bitterness, my resentment. I carried it. She would call me sometimes because we had two kids. They were teenagers at the time, and we had to talk. She would call me sometimes, and I'd stick to one-syllable replies. First, when I see her call me, I'm like, ah, what? Okay. Bye. Now she'd be all happy-go-lucky and, how was your day? No, ask me about my day. Because I was carrying around my bitterness, my frustration, my anger, and my hurt. Then several years passed, my daughter, she was a teenager, early 20s, and I don't know what it is, maybe just my daughter, but she didn't have no filters on what comes out of her mouth. None. Are you like that too? Oh, you just that, blah, 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 just spur it out, just like this. Didn't have no sympathy, empathy, none of that stuff. Like, just tell you what's on the mind. There was several years past, and I remember I was at eating pizza with her and a girlfriend, and I told them I'd take them out to dinner. And my daughter, when she would eat her pizza, she'd hold the pizza sideways and eat it like this and be talking to you like this, right? And I remember I had just took my first bite of my pizza. And my daughter said to me, Dad, Mom's over you. You need to move on. It got choked. Got the napkin. I couldn't swallow. Because it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad, but my daughter was right. She was right. Her mom had moved on, and I was still in my own pity party. I was still carrying around the frustration, the anger, and the hurt because it was mine, doggone it. I didn't want to give it to anybody else. Yeah, she probably asked for me to talk to her, say she want to be sorry with her. I don't want to hear all of that. I want to hold on to this. So for years, I carried this heavy load of all of the ill feelings that I had, all of the ill thoughts that I had. And no, I did not put her in the chunky machine or the shredder. I didn't do that to her. I didn't even think about it. Maybe I should. No, I didn't. But anyway, I carried that resentment with me for years. And the only person that was hurting was me. It was like holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When I would see her, I would be like this. Yeah. And she look at me like I'm crazy. It wasn't hurting her. It was hurting me. And I wasn't releasing it. And then came Marcus. You all probably say, who is Marcus? Say, who is Marcus?
Who's Marcus?
Who is Marcus? That's what I said too. Marcus is Gigi's new husband.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said. So I get a call one day. Marcus and my family, my mom and dad, everybody live in Texas. And I live in Colorado, so I'm out of state. And one of my friends called me, hey, T, have you met Marcus, Gigi's husband? Now, I'm going to tell y'all who got friends who are going through a divorce, have been through it, the last thing you should do is ask that person if they met that new significant other. Because they really don't give a tutti frutti. Okay? They don't. So you don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know why they thought they were helping me. Ty, have you met Marcus? I'm like, no, I've never met him. What am I meeting him for? Well, the reason I was asking is because he's so nice. He reminds me of you. Now the last thing you want to know is somebody got somebody else who reminds them of you. So I get a call from my cousin. My cousin's just like a sister to me. She calls me and says, hey, Ty. I say, hey, how you doing, girl? She says, have you met Marcus? I'm like, no. I know I ain't supposed to use slang, but I said, no. Why? Well, Gigi's new husband, man, he's so nice. He reminds me of you. And I'm like, goodness gracious. So anyway, a few months go by, I'm on Christmas. I'm sitting at home watching a Christmas movie like Scrooge or something. Eating my, what is it called? Pink elephant or white elephant gift popcorn in a tin? What is it? Which one of those elephants is it?
Elephant.
White elephant, yeah. I can't get them together. Okay, the white elephant popcorn, eating it, and I get a text. I look down, it says, hi, Ty. This is Marcus.
Tutti frutti.
Gigi's husband. I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Tutti frutti.
I'm like, what? And what kind of person? What kind of person sends somebody a Merry Christmas to their ex in a relationship? Why? So I'm thinking, man, and it just messed up my mood. Because now I'm like, I got this text and I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know I read it. So how do I respond? I looked at it for like an hour. I didn't get to watch the rest of my movie. The popcorn didn't taste the same. You know, they have 3 different flavors in there. I had mixed them all up and it just didn't taste right. So eventually, I come up with the idea. I just put, you too, sin. Boom. Because I couldn't be rude. Fast forward a few months later, I'm at work this time. And I get a text. And it's from Marcus. Hey, Ty. This is Marcus. I heard your mom and dad were in the nursing home because their health was not good. So I stopped by to see how they were doing. Your mom is doing fine, and I played your dad in dominoes, and he beat me. If I was out of state, I would want someone to check on my mom and let me know how they're doing. Here's a picture.
Oh no. Not him. Tutti frutti.
What kind of guy? Gonna go check on somebody else's parents. I was like, this guy, I can't believe he's this type of, why would he do something like this? But it was slowly becoming obvious that he was a good person. But I still didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Eventually my daughter was getting ready to graduate here at Adams State. And I knew that her mom and Marcus were going to come to town and I got to meet Marcus for the first time. So I'm at graduation and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to give him a handshake. I'm going to shake that son. I'm going to squeeze. Yeah, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm her dad. Yeah, yeah. Don't you forget that. Okay? So I'm thinking all of those things and those thoughts, and I'm being real with y'all because it's the truth. And I finally get to see him coming with Gigi and my daughter. She's all happy and everything because her and my son have told me what a nice guy he is too. And I'm thinking, all right, I still got all of this anger, bitterness, frustration, and hate all balled up in the back of my backpack, and I say I'm going to shake his hand, look him in his eye firm, make sure my toes are pointing forward towards him so he'll know I'm paying attention. I go to shake his hand. He looks at me, shakes my hand. He grabs me and gives me a hug. He says, man, we're family now. When he said that and gave me that embrace, it allowed me to take off all of the pain, all of the anger, all of the frustration, all of the bitterness that I've been carrying all of that time with that hug, and we're family. Now, Marcus is almost like a brother to me. Marcus called me more than my kids call me sometimes. When I met him, I said, man, you do kind of remind me of me. But I tell you that story because the important thing was I had to forgive. And I had to take ownership. Because what I wasn't doing while I was carrying this heavy load of all of those different emotions, I wasn't taking ownership of my actions. I wasn't taking ownership of my role in that divorce. You see, because what I was doing, I was working hard so that I could buy all the things that money could buy, at the same time losing sight of the things that money couldn't buy, like time, communication, commitment, and dedication. So I tell you that story. So when I decided to take ownership for my role in that divorce, when I decided to forgive and let go, that's when my life began to change for the better. So I encourage everyone to make sure that you forgive. Some of you have people in your life that you probably haven't talked to in years because you're still holding a grudge. I encourage you to call that person, speak to that person, text that person, forgive them, because when you forgive them, it helps you because you're able to let it go. I've been around families to where people would say, I haven't talked to my sister in 20 years because of an argument we had. I haven't talked to my brother because something he said to my mom 50 years ago. If you got something like that in your life, I encourage you to go and resolve it. Because you only hurt yourself. Think about me. That's you carrying all of this excess luggage with you, and it's only weighing you down. So make sure that you find ways to forgive and take ownership of your actions, and don't harbor any ill feelings towards others. So that's what the O stands for. Take ownership of your actions. And it brings us to the end. We're getting close to getting home now. Let's go to the end. The next slide. Oh, stop right there. So, can y'all tell which one is Marcus? Which one is me? I look cooler, right? Marcus is a good guy. He's good as gold. But this is my daughter graduating. I don't know what kind of sign that is. I think it's a Hawaiian sign or something. But that's my daughter, Snowy. And that's my daughter, Snowy, too. This is her trying to be cool like Big is. And that's Marcus. If you look at us, we do kind of look alike. And we kind of do have the same type of personality. And we both are caring people. And I'm really thankful that Marcus came into our family's lives because he brought that genuineness to us. And now we all have peace. So it says forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. So make sure that you forgive. One more quick story about Marcus. I was in a major car accident about 4 years ago. I had just bought a car and I was driving it back from St. Louis, and I had somebody total it, just wrecked it and on the freeway, turned it around, thought I was going to die, but I didn't. I'm still here. But after about 30 minutes, I'm in a car, I get a call. It's from Marcus. Marcus is in Houston, Texas. He calls me. He says, are you all right, man? I said, yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm good. He says, hey, you want me to come pick you up and take you home? I was like, you what? He said, you know I'll do it. I said, I know you'll do it, Marcus. But I'm good. I'll fly home. But Marcus is the type of person who would drive from Houston, Texas, up to St. Louis, Missouri, to pick me up and take me to Colorado and then drive back home. That's the type of person he is. And that's a good person. So when you forgive, it allows new people to come into your life and relationships to heal. And if those relationships heal, you'll be able to continue to move forward with hope. So let's go to the last slide. Okay, never quit. Vince, I don't know if you can read that. You might have to come up here.
I got you.
Go ahead.
The past is like using your rear view mirror in the car. It's good to glance back and see how far you've come. But if you stare too long, you'll miss what's right in front of you.
What's the next one?
Winners are not those who never fail, but those who never quit.
Okay. What does it say at the top?
In life, I have learned you can achieve all of your heart's desires if you do two things. First, you have to find out what price you have to pay. Secondly, you have to resolve to pay the price and never quit.
Resolve to pay the price, you all. Don't you quit. Don't you quit. Things are getting tough at times, but you cannot give up and you cannot quit. Now I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. Most people don't know this. When I first came to Alamosa in 2010, it was during the worst time of my life. It was during the recession. I was going through some form of depression, didn't know it, but I had lost all of my material possessions, my financial resources. The only reason I came to Alamosa was because it's the only place I could find a job. When I got the job, it was a government job to where you only get paid once a month. I didn't have money to find a place to stay. Plus, there were not a lot of places available to stay. So I used to sleep in my car. I would sleep in my car at the hospital in the parking lot. And you all are probably saying, why are you sleeping in your car in the hospital parking lot? It was during some of the coldest winter months. And I knew that when I slept in that car, I had to keep it running all night. So my logic was, if I sleep in my car and the cops comes by, they're going to say, oh, he's just sleeping. He's probably got somebody in the hospital that he's visiting. We're not going to bother him. We'll let him sleep. But the reality was, I didn't have anybody in the hospital. I was sleeping there for safety. My logic was, and when you're going through tough times and financial hardship, you can justify just about anything in your mind to make it through what you have to get through. I said, you know what? If I sleep close to the emergency room, if I get carbon monoxide poison, at least I can crawl to the emergency room. That was my logic. I remember sleeping in that car, realizing that all I had left was in the trunk. When I would go to work, I would always be early. So I'd go to work and I would be the first one there, washing up, brushing my teeth, wiping off and all that there stuff. I had my clothes in the trunk so I could get my clothes and change. And then at nighttime, I would stay in the warm building as long as I could until the janitorial crew came in and had to clean, and then I would have to go to the car. My boss, he was real cool. He was like, hey, man, he didn't know. Nobody knew. He says, you know what? You're the best employee we ever had. You're the first one here in the morning, and you're the last one to leave. What he didn't know was I had nowhere else to go but that car. And I was sleeping there, and I remember one night, it was one of the coldest nights in Colorado where they get like those minus 30 degrees. And I remember seeing these clear stars through my window, and I remember saying, wow, I can't believe I've gotten to this point, but I'm thankful I'm at this point, because I think now I can be able to bounce back. But while I was sitting in that car every night, I would always say to myself, Ty, don't you give up, son. Don't you quit. Ty, don't quit. Keep going. You're going to get back. You're going to have more than what you had before this happened to you. But don't you quit, Ty. You can't quit. You got too many people relying on you. Don't start talking to yourself saying silly thoughts. Silly thoughts like, well, you're a motivational, inspirational speaker. You're not supposed to have a setback, Ty. You're not supposed to lose all your money, Ty. You're not supposed to have setbacks or any challenges because you encourage people all the time. I had to change my thinking to thinking, okay, Ty, this is the worst it's going to be for you. So don't you quit. And I'm encouraging you all, when some of you are going to incur some tough, difficult challenges in your life. Sometimes you're going to want to give up hope. Sometimes you're going to try something and you're going to feel like you failed. You're going to feel like you've fallen flat on your back. But I want you to know as long as you can look up, you will be able to get up. Sometimes you're going to have things going on in your life. You're going to try something new. And you're going to be moving forward. And you may fall flat on your face. But I want you to know, at least when you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. But what I don't want you to do, when you try things that don't work, I don't want you going through life with one of these. Who knows what this is?
Rear view mirror.
What kind of mirror?
Rear view.
What kind of mirror?
Rear view.
A rear view mirror. I don't want you going through life when you try something and you say, oh, what happened to me in the past didn't work. The last thing I tried didn't work. What happened to me in the past didn't work. The last thing I tried didn't work. What happened to me in the past didn't work. The last thing I tried didn't work. When you go through life looking through a rearview mirror, it slows down your forward progress. That's why the windshield on your vehicle is so much bigger. So you could see where you're going. The rear view mirror should only be used as a reference point. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep moving forward. So every night I would recite this poem in closing. I'm going to close here. It's a poem by John Greenleaf Whitaker. And the poem is called Don't Quit. So every night while I was sleeping in that car, some nights I remember having a pillow on my head, and the pillow would be dry when I would fall asleep. When I would wake up, the pillow would be soaking wet with my tears from that night. Because I had so much pain. I had so much hurt. I didn't have much left. All I had, just a little bit. Just a little bit of hope. That's all I had. Just a little bit of hope. But reciting this poem that I'm about to recite is what gave me the courage to keep going. And the name of this poem is Don't Quit by John Greenleaf Whitaker. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when your funds are low and your debts are high, when you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. You see, success is failure turned inside out. It's the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. You may be near when it seems far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit, because it's when things go wrong that you must not quit. Thank you so very much. I hope you all have a super fantastic night. And don't let anyone steal your joy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And usually after every presentation, I open it up for questions. The reason I do that is I want anyone who may have any questions, feel free to ask me any questions. One thing I am now is an open book. I tell people before I had my financial setback, I had the audacity to get an ego, and that ego is what caused me to have my financial fall. Is because sometimes when you have egos get in the way of your life. So if any of you have any questions you want to ask me, feel free. Yes?
Yeah, how much are one of your books?
Well, sir, these books are $20, but since you're a special guest, you get a complimentary book tonight. How about that? All right. I'll autograph it for you, too. You're welcome. Any other questions you have? I'm an open book, transparent, anything you want to know. Yes?
What was the biggest obstacle you had to face out here in Alamosa being an African American man?
Okay, I'm going to repeat that question. She said, what was the biggest obstacle I have had being an African American man in Alamosa? Okay, and that's a very valid question and concern. I'm going to tell you something. It's funny. It's funny. I'm going to answer your question. Whenever people say, well, they introduce me, they say, oh, that's Mayor Ty. They're like, what? What? The mayor? The mayor what? Alamosa. I didn't know they had black people in Alamosa. That's what people say all the time. And they don't mean it in a bad way. It's just that's what they say. So the obstacle that I've had is I would say I haven't had obstacles per se because I know that I use my difference as a strength and I use it as a tool to welcome others. So what I don't do is give people permission to make me feel inferior in any way. And I make them rise up by the way I carry myself. Therefore, I'm not feeling inferior in any way. And so if people say something negative, and they've called me names and they say negative things, but one thing my dad told me, he says, Ty, when people call you names, it's not what people call you that's important. What's important is what you answer to. So the challenges I've had is I have had people who may say he's not from around here. He don't know what we do around here. He doesn't understand our people. I've heard that. And then what I'll do is when I find out who's talking about me, and people around here know, I'll find out if you're talking about me, I'm going to find out. And guess what? I'm going to come find you. And then we're going to have conversation, dialogue, to find out what our differences are. I had a challenging situation where there was a group of people, they got some kind of name for themselves. I forgot what their name is now. But anyway, somebody called me one day and says, hey, the head of this group, militia, some kind of militia. And they said, hey, this person here has been saying this and that, and they want you to come. So I went and I actually showed up that person's office. We sat down, had a long conversation, talked about our differences, and then we didn't become good friends or anything, but in talking about those differences, we were able to resolve some of the potential conflict that could have happened in our community. So to answer your question, I have had obstacles, but not because of my race. It's because of other people's ignorance. And I choose not to give anybody permission. Nobody has permission to make me feel any kind of way that I don't want to feel. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. That's a long way of getting around that question, huh? All right. Anybody else got a good question? Anybody else a good question? Any other questions? Yes.
It's not a question. I just want to thank you, Ty, for your leadership and your positivity and your example that you share with our community. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Means a lot. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everything you do, too, in our community. So thank you. Thank you. You and I have been knowing each other a long time, too. Helping out people with housing. That's good. Thank you. Yes.
If I may, I'd like to make a comment about something that I saw on television recently. I'm not really promoting it, but I like what I saw. It's called Resident Alien, and you talk about being colorblind. You have this alien who looks just like us now, and you have this officer, a black officer, driving a big black truck, comes up and introduces himself. He says, "People call me Big Black." The alien looks around. "Oh yeah, because of your truck." You're funny, aren't you? You're funny. But I thought that was pretty cool. Completely colorblind, and I'm saying that because it's Black History Month.
All right. Thank you, Roscoe. Thank you. Thank you. And the way we overcome the differences of races is for us to meet and mingle with people who are different than us. Okay? And when we have those times around the table to talk with one another and we're able to understand, when you get a chance to sit around the table with someone who may be different from you, sooner or later you're going to find out there's really not much difference. We all have some of the same types of feelings and desires with our life. Anybody else? Any other questions? There are no bad questions. Yes? Yeah, you sure can. Here you go. There you go. Good deal. Thank you for your help, too. Appreciate you, baby. All right, last call for questions. Anybody? Any other questions? Okay. All right. So thank you all so very much for coming out here today. I appreciate you sharing your night with me. My cell phone number is 719-313-7241. It's posted on the website as well. The reason I give my cell phone number out at every presentation is because I want people to know that if any of you are ever experiencing any challenges or anything that's on your mind, you can call me 24 hours, 7 days a week. There are a lot of people right now who are experiencing mental and behavioral health issues, and sometimes people don't have anybody that they can call just to talk or to free their minds. If you ever find yourself in that position and you just want to talk and say what's on your mind, feel free to call me and I'll be glad to listen. When I was sleeping in that car, I made a promise. I said, if I ever get to a position in life to where I can help someone else, I'll make sure that I make myself available to help them. So when you're thinking about quitting, you're thinking about giving up, you're thinking about losing hope, you're thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking about, call me. I'll take your call and I'll listen to what you have to say. Okay? Thank you.
Everybody for coming this evening. There is still some food in the back, so please help yourself. And then next week will be the final event for Black History Month, which will be in Geralt Lobby. We will have some snacks. It's come in your pajamas, primarily for students. It is for a student event, so just wanted to throw that out there. In Geralt Lobby, we'll be having some fun. So thanks again, and thank you to the mayor, and take some food.
Let's give ASU staff and team a round of applause. Thank you all so very much.